Welcome, Star Wars fans. Here we talk about all things Star Wars with rumors, facts, news, and random shenanigans. Get ready and strap into your Millennium Falcon. This is the Force Choke Podcast.
Welcome to episode 87 of the Force Choke Podcast. Today we have the council with us. We're going to be missing Sarah today. She's been, at her job, her full-time job, and just too exhausted to join us today. Either that or she's wary of what the discussion's going to entail. I don't know. We'll find that out later. But joining me today, we have Micah, Tim, and myself, Lewis. Of course, we're missing Sarah once again. We are the council. This is the Force Choke Podcast. We want to thank everybody right off the bat for liking, subscribing, following us on all our social medias. Of course, you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Apple Podcast, Apple Music, I think even Pandora. So wherever you can find podcasts, you can find the Force Choke Podcast. Leave us some comments, leave us a rating. We truly appreciate it, whether you like us or hate us. We're here for your entertainment needs, especially concerning the galaxy far, far away. All right, guys. So the first topic I have, we haven't had a chance to really discuss this as a group on the podcast. Our first topic we're going to talk about is Deep Breath, RIP, Rest in Peace, Cara Dune, Rise from the Ashes, Gina Carano. So I'd like to hear from Tim. Tim, how do you feel about this whole process of Gina Carano moving on from the Cara Dune character and moving into the studio of Daily Wire with Ben Shapiro?
All the way up to Ben.
Well, you don't have to follow the whole timeline, but we'll try to keep that on a positive note. How do you feel about working with the Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro?
I mean, I think it's a whole mess right now, but she's trying to, I mean, she's been given like a chance from most people. I think in the past have said, like, when they've said some stuff like similar or worse for whatever company that they work for, they lose their job, they lose their career, and they're like not able to I guess officially act in big roles again. They're kind of like blacklisted.
Yeah.
And Ben Shapiro being there for her is kind of like, I mean, he's got like a big name, and to have use his platform and have him kind of back her up and just kind of keep her name and everything relevant. I mean, she was already, based off of the video that Micah shared yesterday, where she's like #1 on IMDb.
I know, that's crazy, right?
Put her there. Yeah, so she's like the most popular actress, to make sure, I think she's still gonna get a job somewhere at some point. I mean, she's already got she's got that movie coming out, or she's gonna start working on something new. Her little doc, which is good for her. Man, I don't know where to go from here, but like, I mean, that's kind of like how I feel about, like, it's a mess, but not entirely. I mean, she's gonna come back eventually. She's got another chance, and it's kind of like I said, like, people before don't have that, and she's got it. So maybe it's different this time around for the people backing up opinionated or strong opinionated people.
Yeah. So you could, I mean, whether Ben Shapiro agreed with her Twitter posts or whatever the case might be, she's somebody that he believes in to create a great product for his new business, right? Or another part of his business. Um, that being said, I mean, I think it's great opportunity for her. I mean, you can, I guess, consider this a whether you're religious or not, quote unquote, a blessing in disguise, possibly. I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Micah?
I, shortly after, Twitter mob and the mob in general for those ideas, quote unquote, canceled her. I almost feel as if she getting a job, getting a movie deal with the Daily Wire, with Ben Shapiro's outfit, the Daily Wire. I feel like if almost is a testament to just literally the two different ideologies that we have, fighting amongst each other in politics or even in the public square today. If what she had actually said was actually that bad, was actually where she was legitimately canceled, she wouldn't get it. It's kind of like what Tim was alluding to. Like, she wouldn't get a job anywhere else. Yeah, sure. You have to take the aspect of, the whole business with, from my understanding, to the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro, and, some of the other people with the Daily Wire, is that even with the movie they came out with about a month ago called Run, Hide, Fight, they made a deal. I don't know exactly how it works, and maybe part of this had to do with the pandemic, was that they bought rights to the movie to essentially, I guess, have it there exclusively for a year, because they want to start moving into that medium of entertainment, into movie, to actually promote movies, stories, TV shows with their ideals. I mean, conservative ideals or just logical ideals of what made America America, what made America great, whatever, however you want to call it. I think this, with them adding her on, again, is a testament to show, like, what she said. Some people were upset, obviously. How big were the people versus how big their voice was? I think is more of a, it's all more of a testament to showing that maybe what she said wasn't that bad. Like, legitimately, I think it's people in part, more so in part, that this potentially small group that had a very, very loud, boisterous, and ongoing voice, to have her canceled, was a resultant factor of what happened in Star Wars, just putting the tail between their legs and listening to the people with the loudest voice. Because this was not the first instance. This was not the first instance in which they had tried canceling Gina Carano on Twitter. It all, I don't know if you necessarily want to go into each of the fine points. It's all madness. In my personal belief, it's all ridiculous. It's all madness. It's legitimately looking at an entire sentence and picking words together and saying, this is why this person's a bad person, because I want to have my opinion against them, and I'm going to do what me and my cronies online, if you will, my trolls under the fucking bridge, want to say.
Yeah.
And see how long we can, how long it takes. I think this also added fire to that. I think this also, in a sense, legitimized what they've done. It doesn't have to be that they were bad, but it's that they disagree with it, and they spoke so loudly, and they can continue on that path. So, I mean, I'm mad. I'm mad. I'm pissed off. I have now become maybe part of this group called, you want to call us, disillusioned with what Star Wars is doing, what Star Wars has done, with my faith in them going forward. But I am at the very least happy that Gina Carano, as I think Shapiro said, is now uncanceled, because she does have a job, and I think this is a I don't want to say the beginning, but the beginning of seeing people in Hollywood stand up for their own beliefs and their own ideologies. Not bad ideology, simply different ideology. But now in this world today, if you disagree with someone, you're a literal insert, whatever word you wish. And you can paint them as an ugly person. as the ugly party, as the
You paint you broad stroke it as this is the villain.
yes.
You can use that word, right? I know which word you were alluding to, but we'll just paint them as the villain, right?
Schmishmorton.
Yeah. And it's funny that you mentioned those things, Micah, because Gina Carano in many of her posts was just posing a question. When I went to school, the biggest things my teachers, and that was back in the 80s and mostly through the 80s, teachers were always like, hey, if you don't know, ask the question. Nowadays, I don't know if that's the same. My kids have been out of school for a long, long time now. I don't know if that's the norm for people to be in class and ask questions. It just does not seem that way. Um, so it's almost odd that you can, like Gina Carano did, get canceled for even just posing a question, not making a bold statement, just posing a question. That is to me very dangerous. You know what I mean? But Tim, do we have you back? I know
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, good. Hey, so you know, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right?
Yeah.
So the next topic we're going to move to is directly tied to everything that happened with Gina Carano and and the fiasco that went on with her. The hashtag cancel Disney Plus was trending on Twitter, I think, for a few days, um, which I think is the equal and opposite reaction to the firing of Gina Carano. I want to ask Tim directly because, up until a couple of years ago, I think I was really enamored with Disney. You know what I mean? And when I was a young child, I mean, I've loved to draw and paint ever since I was a young child. If I had my dream job, as I was growing up, it was to, do cartoons for Disney because I wanted to bring as much joy to other children as Disney brought to me when I was a child. Now that I'm an adult, I see things much differently, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And I know, Tim, up until maybe, even less than 5, 6 months ago, you're kind of like, hey, let Disney run the ship, let them be the monopoly, let them do all the entertainment. How does it make you feel to see cancel Disney Plus trending on Twitter?
I know. Um, uh, I guess I mean people's opinions can change, but uh,
But has yours, son? Has your opinion changed?
yeah, it has because well, the reason why I was all for Disney is because like I thought they provide, they've been providing great entertainment uh
Mhm.
for years, many years across the world, and not just here, but um, and I feel like they've never steered the wrong direction, and that's where they're going uh with all this, and they've always been like a company to help with change, like to move forward with culture and change, uh, and improve the world. Like Disney has always been like that for us, but in a good way, to move forward. But now they're using that platform wrong, or not wrong, but I just feel like it's not right. Where they're going with it. Um, just kind of, I guess, against what they used to be. Uh, and if I keep supporting that, um, that's just not something that's not something I want to support. I don't want to support a company that's kind of uh now going to become narrow-minded. It needs to be this way. I mean, they were like that, but it's just like was better. I don't know how to explain it.
Probably the word you're searching for there, Tim, is wholesome family values. That's 3 words, but
Yeah.
if you think of Disney, when I thought of Disney, that's what I would think of. Wholesome family values. I can take anybody to see anything, and that's what I'm going to come away with. Right?
Yeah.
At least to me.
You know, and it's funny too because remember having these conversations over the last, months, years, with you fine gentlemen. And I remember Tim's kind of like, yeah, like let Disney do it kind of thing. And I think we've in some fashion or another we've shared that sentiment. And even with me, because it's like, okay, great, you have a huge company with is seemingly an endless bankroll. Fuck yeah, let them take over Marvel. Let them take over Star Wars. They can keep on giving us content, and with their name attached to it, they're going to attract great talent, great writers, great directors, producers. Yeah, why wouldn't you want to see Star Wars? So long as it's good, why wouldn't you want to see Star Wars continued so heavily in so many different facets? My thinking at the time was, if there was ever a bad aspect to it, short of is too much kind of thing, is like, wow, these guys are just gonna make so much goddamn money, like that was the thing. They're gonna make so much money, and are they gonna make the content more expensive? Are they gonna make it to where it's almost unattainable in a sense, for people having to worry about paying bills, paying rent, taking care of the children kind of thing? Like at some point, is it gonna, and this is just my opinion, but it's like, I'm thinking to yourself, is like, is it ever gonna be a point, kind of like with what they've done with their parks, is it ever gonna be to a point, because they have almost this monopoly on this huge section of entertainment, like, is it ever going to be so bad that like it's going to be hard to pay for it? And then now it's like, oh no, they have so much power, we're going to change what you want to see, we're going to change what you want to believe. And it's like, some people warned you. Everyone's starting to see it now.
Ironically enough, Mike, I'm going to go back to the every action has an equal and opposite reaction. You were mentioning that, wow, if they get Marvel, if they get Star Wars, they get this, they get that, and they have all these components, Pixar and National Geographic, they're going to attract these high talented people. Ironically enough, many of their high talented people are leaving Disney and creating their own companies, their own independent companies, one of them being Skydance Films and Animation. Some of the head animators from Disney are in that, beginning their own projects. So I'm curious to see how, companies as big as Disney, a lot of people say it's too big to fail. But I wonder if it's begun its implosion.
It's correction. It's correction.
It's correction. Okay, we can use correction.
Tim, where'd you get that from? Cryptocurrency?
I wonder if it's correction. And I think one of the biggest measures, especially with that cancel Disney Plus trend happening, the next big thing that we have coming for Star Wars, at least, is The Bad Batch, May 4th. And so I'm going to ask you guys, I want y'all to be honest. And I think I know Micah's answer. I don't know Tim's answer. I'll give you my answer first. My question to you is, and to myself for the podcast sake, have you canceled Disney Plus? I'm going to tell you right now, I have not canceled Disney Plus. I'm still subscribed to it. one of the reasons is Sandy, my wife. She likes to watch some of the Disney movies on there. You know what I mean? So for me to cancel it, I would have to. And I've talked to her a little bit about the Gina Carano thing that happened, and she was very dumbfounded by why Gina Carano got fired. You know what I mean? Um, but she wasn't to the point where it was like, man, we should just cancel that, Disney Plus because of that. So let me ask you guys, Micah, let's start with you first. Have you canceled Disney Plus?
No, because I feel like I have a. I get it free with Verizon, my wireless provider. So I feel like I'm partly cheating the system.
Wink.
If I don't have to give them my money and I'm still able to enjoy the content, if anything, they're losing.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some way, like, even me as a viewer count, or the numbers that Disney gets from Verizon, the subscribers Verizon has through them for their stuff. I know it's not helping. Right now, I feel with all this, I'm definitely disenfranchised. Like, am I at the point to legitimately canceling them? I mean, I wish it was that easy, and maybe it should be. It's just, with some of the other stuff that they have, like.
And we'll talk a little bit about that later on in our podcast here, about how easy would it be to cancel Disney Plus.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's just because with all this stuff, and I know I've mentioned in passing, this has at the very least left a very sour taste in my mouth. Seeing the direction, we've talked about it previously on a few podcasts, like the different direction. It seems like there's two factions again inside Lucasfilm. Now, of course, this is all under still the Disney umbrella. So would I cancel it? Would I cancel Disney Plus because of Star Wars and not enjoy Marvel? Or is it something where, like, okay, well, I can watch Marvel even though Disney still owns them, but it was technically Lucasfilm that made the decision. So maybe I can, for my better part, ignore the Star Wars content on there to maybe make some kind of decision to show my resistance to the bullshit that they're doing. I really don't know, but no, quick answer, I have not yet canceled it because I'm not really paying for it. It's kind of like, how do you deny free benefits? I get it. I get it. Yeah. What's better than pizza? Free pizza. I'm going to eat shit up.
Exactly. Tim, do you get free pizza?
No, it's not. I'm paying for mine, but I have not canceled it, and I don't think I'm going to cancel until. I mean, if it gets any worse, I mean, it really has to get shit for me to cancel Disney Plus.
This is going to be off topic. I'm going to interrupt you real quick, Tim. I know there was a big push about the Mulan movie, live action movie that Disney was giving thanks to a province in China where they have literal concentration camps and re-education camps, and people were very upset about that. And I think cancel or I don't know what it was, like something about the Mulan movie or cancel Mulan movie or something like that. So, Tim, what would it take? Oh my goodness.
I know, right? I forgot about that. And then the crap with the $30 to watch their movie that just came out in theaters, but then other movies that, like, if you're subscribed to HBO, HBO Max, you don't pay that kind of money when a movie comes out in theaters. You just watch it when it comes out in theaters on HBO Max. You don't have to pay that $30 fee for a movie.
You can turn it on, you can watch King Kong whoop Godzilla's ass, and you're
good. There's only one king, and his name is Kong. God damn it.
But back on track. No, that's it's It's tough, right, Tim? I mean,
It is.
you want to cancel it, but we'll get into that a little bit more. So your answer there was no, you have not canceled it yet, and I think that's TBD for Tim moving forward. Sounds like. So let's go on to the next thing, guys. We all know that Pedro Pascal, and I think Tim is the one that brought it to our attention that Pedro Pascal has a new project that he's working on, which is what, The End of Us or The Last of Us,
Last of Us.
right? Live action, and that's based off of a Sony PlayStation video game, right?
Yeah, from Naughty Dog.
Yes, and that is
Tim, don't call him that. We're on live.
I've been called worse. It's all right. So I'm going to ask you guys.
We are in the same fantasy football league. You're right. I have seen people call you worse.
Exactly. So let me ask you guys, is Pedro Pascal going to continue as a Mandalorian? We have seen that there are many Mandalorians in the Star Wars universe. They're going to be concentrating on the Siege of Mandalore, is what we're thinking in season 3 of The Mandalorian. Is Pedro Pascal coming back? Do they need him to come back?
It's actually funny. I never brought this up, and I kind of meant to, because I know before The Mandalorian started airing and we were talking about it, we were seeing those rumors. Is Pedro Pascal, is he going to stay there? Like, it seems like there was turmoil on the set. Like, how much does he actually really contribute other than his voice and him in the suit a couple scenes, right? Because you had the stunt double and such. But it was funny because with what we saw in the series, the season, it's like, where'd that bullshit come from? Like, he's fine, obviously. And now we're seeing that, and also some of the movement for even the canceling of him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wonder where all that stuff does take it for him. Because I would imagine with what we've seen with season 2, like, it would still follow him, pretty intimately in his, move on Mandalore and such. But is the cancel culture going to grab him up too?
I don't know. What do you think, Tim?
Did you even hear why, Tim, they're looking to propose to canceling him?
No.
Oh,
He said in the past, right? Isn't it something he's done in the past?
Ooh, should I say it on this video?
Just say it, Micah.
So in part, like the icing on the cupcake, the catalyst for why Gina Carano was taken down was because of her latest post on Instagram, a share from someone else comparing yes, actually I'm gonna go with that. The Yahtzees. The Yahtzee grew to power by simple everyday citizens turning on their fellow neighbors, right?
Which included Jews at the time.
Yes. Scaring the German people into calling out their own neighbors of the Jewish community. Now, is that a fireable offense? Is that a cancelable offense? Like, I wouldn't talk about it, but it is history, and it might be kind of relevant to what's going on to today. But the reasoning for bringing up that particular situation is that Pedro Pascal a couple years ago, legitimately made a comparison to half of America being the new Yahtzees. And by showing a picture of the children in the supposed cages at the border, when that wasn't even an actual picture of America and all this stuff. But he wasn't proposing a conversation. He was legitimately calling, I think, like half of America, at least the Republican voters.
So pretty much, Tim, he said, if you voted for Trump, you're a Yahtzee.
Yeah. And so, like, there's been people talking about, like, okay, well, he brought the same conversation up before she did, and he legitimately called people this. Like, is that a cancelable offense, or is it okay because it's the ideology of a certain group of people that happen to be in charge in Hollywood and at Disney and at Lucasfilm, for that matter? Should he be canceled? Tim Oakley?
Yes, but then he has to be fair, he needs to be canceled by Yes, he needs to be canceled, but also, um, for it to happen is you need to have a large group of people pushing for that too, because that's what happened with Gina. People were trying, kept trying and trying to get her fired, and Disney is probably just getting nervous and nervous, and it's like, no, we can't have this. So they just like got rid of her after her last thing. But uh, there'd have to be the people pushing that to get him out. It'd have to stay on that, and he has to keep fueling the fire with something.
Do you think that they're just going to cancel the Mandalorian?
Mm, no.
Do
I
you
am.
think that Jon Favreau himself would say, "You know what? That's enough. I'm done with this."
Fuck you, people. I'm gone. Um, it's funny. I think it. I can't imagine how would they be. How would they be able to go on as scheduled? Right. It was already pushed back to like what late December.
Yeah.
With them probably having to do like some stupid rewrites right now. Like they said they weren't going to kill. Okay, they said they were not going to recast her, even though there's
Hmm.
been conversation for that, and that's assuming they try to pick another strong, independent woman that is falling in line with what they say. Right? We wouldn't need to cancel someone else to play Gina Carano's Cara
I,
Dune.
I to cut you off there, Micah. I would hate for whoever comes in that is a recast.
Mm-hmm.
The fans that are toxic, whether even if they supported Gina Carano, they're going to tear that person apart.
It's the problem is that, and the reason I partly brought it up with Pedro Pascal because also the same. I don't remember particularly what the situation was for this one, but it's also a conversation for Rosario Dawson to be
Oh God, I forgot
recasted
about that.
to be
Yeah.
to be recasted as Ahsoka Tano because the thing is there's no winning against this group
Tim,
of
Tim,
people online. It's the virtue
yeah.
signaling. All it can do is get worse. All
Tim
I
didn't
can
hear
do
about
is
the
get
Pedro
worse.
Pascal. I doubt he heard about the Rosario Dawson. Did you hear about Rosario Dawson? Why they want to cancel her as Ahsoka, Tim?
All right. Well, I heard about Pedro. I just didn't remember the specifics of it, and I know it was like in the past. But what did Rosario do?
Okay, so do you want to go through that, Mike, or you want me to do it?
I don't exactly remember. I feel
Okay,
like
I'll,
the name of this
I'll, I'll,
episode is going to be cancel this anyway. So fuck it.
okay. So this is what happened. There, Rosario Dawson was at a family function, her family function. In that family function, there was a transgender individual there that was a family friend. I believe the conversation got heated with the transgender individual. Transgender individual decided to sue Rosario Dawson and the family. It went to court. The judge dropped all charges against Rosario Dawson and her family that the transgender individual brought up, and any charges that they brought up. And now the cancel culture is like, well, if the judge isn't going to do something about it, we'll do something about it. We got Gina Carano canceled. We can do it with Rosario Dawson now. And they're asking Disney and Lucasfilm to recast Ahsoka Tano because of that incident.
And we've seen what they
When did
did with.
this?
Oh, go ahead. My
Oh,
bad.
this is very, very recent. Well, that incident happened about a year ago, year and a half ago. They're using that incident now to cancel Rosario Dawson or attempt to. Uh, so I don't know how since you really hadn't heard about that, Tim. Tell me, what are you thinking, man?
I don't know what to think. It's like I don't know.
Burn
I
it
don't know.
all down at this point.
How about you, Micah? I mean, since I kind of filled you back in on that, I know you probably heard it before, but
Yeah.
that was kind of updated on there.
Everything.
Uh, if Lucasfilm and or Disney, for that matter, don't make some substantial changes soon, I think they're going to cancel themselves. I think once you kowtow to the mob,
they rule you, right?
You have to keep going, right?
Yeah.
Let's virtue signal. Let's continue to do that, and let's go ahead and get rid of the people that these other people don't want in place. If Gino Carano could get canceled for saying things that were maybe not liked but truth, why can't people get fired for unlikable falsities?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you follow the method for them, you know, I mean, that's funny because, and I think in all, like, with all respect, I think Rosario Dawson, for some respect, you know, was pretty woke, as the kids say these days. And it's like, if that own group is wanting to cancel one of their own representatives, if you will, it's like, where does it stop? You know, and the thing is I don't think it stops anywhere, because the people that are doing this, you know, these Twitter mob crazy people online, I think just want to see the whole world burn. And at this point, I think some of us are like, fine, fuck it, do it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, obviously, it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter your intentions, what topic you're covering, what idea you want to bring up. It doesn't matter. You're not going to make everybody happy. 100% perfect doesn't matter, doesn't exist, doesn't happen. And when you start to bow down to a very small but very loud group, it can only get worse. Does she need to be recast? No. And I'll even ask you that. I'll even answer you this question, because I don't think I necessarily gave my opinion on that. Does Pedro Pascal, does he deserve to be canceled? Does he deserve to be recast? My answer again stands: no. But the fact is, if you want to look at their track history now with Gina Carano, what else can they do other than fire these people?
Yeah.
If we're going to bow to the loudest group, then the loudest group right now is telling you exactly what to do. You don't need to worry about Star Wars. You just need to ask them what you want, what they want. So why not cancel them, fire them, get rid of them, right? While we're at it, let's just cancel Star Wars because it was made by a white guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the white dominated male patriarchy. Get rid of all of them.
I don't know. That's a lot of info. What do you think, Tim?
We'd have to get rid of Star Wars.
We have to get rid of everything, Tim. But at this point, why not?
Because it's only happening in the Star Wars verse.
Not really. It's just this has been the latest successful one. You don't remember about the situation with Marvel? They wanted to cancel Brie Larson.
Oh yeah, and wasn't there something with Star-Lord too? What's his name?
Oh, because Chris Pratt
is
conservative. Yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, he considers himself of Catholic, so that's even worse. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna kind of hinge what we were just talking about.
I feel like Lewis right now. It's like, oh wow, we did go there.
Yeah, we're gonna hinge what we were just talking about into. I listened to, and I don't remember if I sent it to you, Tim. Shame on me if I didn't, but I know I sent it to Micah. The 2021 Q1 investor meeting of Disney. That it sent chills up my spine. It was about an hour and 20 minutes, and every single minute of that conversation with the top investors of Disney was very robotic, very heartless, and I don't know. What do you think, Micah? You listened to it. Tim, did I send that to you?
I don't remember that.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and look for it, and I'll send it to you. It's like I said, it's about an hour and a half, but you can actually fast forward it to, I guess, minute, I think 40 or something like that, to get to the meat of the investors speaking. And so I want to get your thoughts, Micah, and then I'm going to give you guys the top 10 investors of Disney and see how hard it would be to cancel Disney or even make a dent in Disney. Go for it, Micah.
What am I going for again? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't. Is it shocking? Maybe. But I feel like it's expected, because this is not an attack on. Well, okay, I don't want to say that. It's like, what do you expect though? People making stupid money, and they want their money to make money, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, the people who invest in huge companies that turn a big profit, they don't give a shit what they're invested in, whether it's legal, illegal. Well, I mean, for the purpose of staying out of jail, I guess that's one thing. But they don't care what they're investing in the sense of, is it liked or not liked? They only care if it's profitable.
Yeah.
So for them to sound like robots, to be like, I don't care the human cost, maximize profit, like, to me, it's just kind of like, okay, well, I mean, it's fucked, but it makes sense, And is it sad that you have those that kind of group that invest in a company that, as Tim eloquently put earlier, for good, wholesome entertainment, like family oriented. I know, Lewis, you also said that too. But like for a group that we knew to be like putting out family films, putting out children films, and stuff like that. I would imagine, like, if you put Disney against a lot of these other names, it's like, which one would be more concerned for people and how they, and how they grow up in the world? It would be Disney. It's supposed to be like, okay, Disney, like, this is good for the family. This is good for the children. This shouldn't be just a money-making scheme. Well, it is now.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So I'm going to very eloquently said, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that.
Shit, I was all over the
place. I'm going to give you guys. I'm going to give you guys the top investors, the top 10 owners / investors of Disney Co. Okay. First one is called the Vanguard Group Inc. They have a 7.4% shareholders. Total value at $22.5 billion.
That's with a B, right?
B. Yeah. All these numbers that I'm going to tell you are in the billions as far as stakeholder. The second top one is BlackRock Fund Advisor, $12.9 billion. SGA Funds Management, $11.9 billion. State Farm, $6.4 billion.
Oh no, Aaron Rodgers is tied to something evil. Fuck that guy too.
Exactly.
Go Bears.
Geode Capital, $4.4 billion. Northern Trust Investments, $3.9 billion. Fidelity Management, $3.4 billion. T. Rowe Price, $3.2 billion. Morgan Stanley, $3 billion. Norges Bank Investment, $2.8 billion. Those are the top 10. There's more, but those are the top 10 investment owners of Disney. So even if you cancel Disney Plus, but you have State Farm, guess what? It doesn't mean shit. So all these companies are intertwined. You know what I mean? They're doing their song and dance, and the puppets are dancing for them, which is the consumer.
What do you do? What are you going to do? You're going to package it. You're going to stamp it. You're going to put a sticker on it. You're going to send it out. You're going to send it out. I can't even. I need to learn the code just for shit like that. It's all like investment firms, practically.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And what do we know that they do? They want to make money. They don't care what the fuck they put out.
And for us, it's not about the money. It's about
a message.
Exactly right. So tell me, Tim, how do you feel now hearing those top 10 investors? And there's more. And they're not at the top in the top 10, but even Neiman Marcus was in that investor call as an investor of Disney Plus. or not Disney Plus, but Disney itself. Does canceling Disney Plus even mean anything?
It sends the message, yes.
That's okay.
It still kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Micah?
What about canceling Disney Plus?
Yeah.
I think at the very least, seeing that as a trending, conversation on Twitter,
Mhm.
I guess it's one of those things you would call a small victory.
Okay. Very good.
Because I think they see Disney Plus as it really is this new avenue for them just to make stupid money, especially with God knows how long this pandemic shit's gonna last.
Mhm.
I mean, you have a conversation like, oh, everyone's going to be vaccinated by a certain time, but we're still going to be walking around with masks in 2022 and shit. So it's like, how long is all this really going to last?
Who knows?
Maybe someone in America knows who it is, part
Yeah.
of whatever group. But this is really, I think, like their platform to make them just obscene amount of money.
Especially with it being subscription based, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, especially if you want to fucking make people pay $30 for a movie just to rent it, just for a platform you already having to subscribe to and pay money to, right?
Yeah.
Is that a doable business model? Well, to them, apparently the answer would be yes, because can you really live without seeing the Star Wars movie if it doesn't make it to the theaters? Like, will you pay the extra $30 to see it? A lot of Star Wars fans' answers would be yes. They'll pay the $30 to see it. They'll still have Disney Plus to watch it again. They'll still probably buy the physical media or even the digital versions that's off the Disney Plus site. Like, it's about making money. And so is it going to do anything? Probably not. But at the very least, is it like, wait. How many people had to tweet this hashtag cancel Disney Plus shit for it to make sense? So at the very least, it should be like, is that a yellow light I'm coming to? Hold on now.
Yeah.
Do I got to start slowing down the car, or am I going to get in an accident, or am I going to run a red light? Like it should be, not that it matters anything, but it should be literally, it's like the reason they have money is because of people paying into it.
Yeah.
If you have enough people saying, I don't like your content anymore, go away.
Yeah.
Like that's going to cause a huge wrench in their system, if you will.
So let me, I'm going to touch base really quick on this, and then we're going to move on to the next thing. In that 2021 Q1 investors meeting, I'm going to kind of speak specifically to Tim because he didn't get to hear any of it. Many of the investors were literally honing in on and asking questions of Disney representatives of when are the parks going to open again? Because I think that's their biggest moneymaker. I think you guys are probably right that Disney Plus right now is their biggest moneymakers with the parks shut down or partially shut down. In California, it's totally shut down. In Florida, it's partially shut down. I think that Disney Plus hashtag cancel Disney Plus. I'm sure the investors didn't like that. And I think, even though it may feel like a drop in the bucket, you're making a point because that's their biggest cash cow right now. So,
hey man, is this spit in my burger? Fuck it.
All right, let's move on to the next thing, guys. I'm going to pose a two-part question. Okay. And this is the one that I kind of posed there, Mike and I were talking about earlier. So you're going to hear this, for the first time, Tim. Is Luke, and this is straightforward. I'm asking you guys this or a that. Is Lucasfilm winning or losing, and should have Star Wars have ended when George Lucas ended making Star Wars movies? Tim, you go first.
Lucasfilm is winning in the game department, losing in the movie department. And I don't think it should have ended when Lucas left. I think his work should be inspiring and live on and somehow create more great work like that. Yeah, so yeah, kind of both sides. I don't see them winning or losing entirely.
All right. So, Micah, same question. Is Lucasfilm winning or losing? And should Star Wars have ended when George Lucas sold the company? Or, should it just ended with the last movie he made?
It's funny because you asked that question even to the people in charge, the people inside the group. Right? Everyone will have a different response. Are they winning? On what scale? Are they making money? Yes. Are they winning with the spirit of Star Wars and what George Lucas initially created and intended by passing it off to Disney, even if it was a sale of $4.1 billion? Are they winning? I'd say no. But also, it's not a clear-cut answer because I think, as we've talked about, there's potentially two different factions in Lucasfilm right now. Is a Mandalorian a fantastic success? Hopefully, going forward, despite what we've seen with Gina Carano, I would say yes. That's a complete success, but that is but a show with only 2 seasons on Disney Plus. While they have movies, they've had directors that were supposed to be slated for movies that have now bounced out of that. Maybe that's what Dan and Dave from Game of Thrones were like. I see what's going on here. I see what the direction is taken, and fuck that. I don't want to be tied to it. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. But so are they winning from a money making standpoint? Yes. To keep with the ideology that George Lucas and started off with, I'm going to say the answer on the most part is no. I guess we'll have to see really with the 3rd season going forward and some of the other shows really had the answer in that. I think the direction they're taking is a dangerous one, and I think one that ultimately will mean losing. Maybe even just simply on the grounds of morality. With the ideas of, Christ, you had the High Republic writers mad, not a rivalry, not like, hey, I'm going to get better numbers than you. They had the High Republic, writers and many people tied to that, pissed off and wanting apologies from Favreau, from Filoni, for the success of their show. I thought y'all were all fucking Star Wars, right? Yeah. So with tying that into going forward, I don't know if I can truly answer your next question, Lewis. But in a sense, I think the fact is that we are asking this question. That this same question has come up to me. The fact is that I can't even answer your question. Should be telling on his own. Should Star Wars have stopped when George Lucas himself was done with Episode 3? The fact that I can't answer that question, I think, is very telling.
Yeah.
Because I think for a lot of us, what was it, 2013, 2014, when it was announced that Disney purchases Lucasfilm, they plan on doing movies, they plan on having this whole slew, this whole future for them. I think everyone was fantastic. It's like, okay, cool, some people didn't like the prequels. Some people didn't like the prequels in the beginning, but then learned to appreciate it, right? But for the most part, it was like this great fandom now essentially has a backer to continue these stories. How can that not be good, right? They're not going to change away from what George Lucas had made.
Yeah.
Because that's what made it successful. Now it's like Disney is Lucasfilm is legitimately the goddamn empire. Again, I can't answer that question.
Okay. I'll answer the question.
If what we have seen in even just the last couple months is any indication of what we're going to see in the future, yes, Star Wars should have stopped.
Yeah. So, look, this is how I look at it, right? We all have our own individual opinions, thoughts, and that's why we do this podcast, right?
For how much longer?
So, whenever we get canceled, right?
Lewis has 7 topics for the show, and this is going to be 7 reasons why this podcast is going to be in trouble.
Yeah, maybe that's what you can. Maybe that's what you can put as our title for this. 7 reasons
it's
why.
It's a working title. 7 reasons to cancel this.
So to answer the question for me, is Lucasfilm winning or losing? I'm going to agree with Tim. I think they're winning. Okay. And I'm going to pose this in an analogy in a minute. Should Star Wars have ended with George Lucas doing episode 3, Revenge of the Sith? My feeling on that is no. Those are my short answers. This is my long answer. Right now, as a Star Wars fan, I feel like an abused spouse. When I talk to you guys, my friends, my close dear friends, it's like, well, yeah, I get smacked around a little bit, and she drinks a little bit, and yeah, maybe she does a few, lines of whatever, and yeah, but it's not all bad
Poetry?
because on my birthday, I got this. You know what I mean? That's how I feel right now. That I feel like an abused spouse when talking about Star Wars, and in a way, I truly think. I was a really big proponent of Kathleen Kennedy. As a matter of fact, I think one of our several podcasts back, I did a roundtable, and I was the only one to give Kathleen Kennedy a thumbs up. I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can do that anymore.
We call that buyer's
I
remorse.
I think at the time, I was probably still in the honeymoon stage. You know what I mean? And did not want to see some of these things. And kudos to you guys for noticing some of these things prior to me. You know what I mean? So moving forward, I think she needs to be either released, let go from her contract. I think we need some new leadership in Lucasfilm. Has she given us some really great things being the head of Lucasfilm? Yes, she has. Has she given us some flops? I guess you can consider a flop however you consider it, right? So yes. That being the case, I think her time has officially run out. And I think the reason for that is she has not said a word to any Star Wars fan as a president of Lucasfilm saying, thank you for hanging in there with us. We know we've gone through a lot of controversy. We've gone through a lot of things that have felt like a roller coaster ride to our Star Wars family. You guys, the fans, we want to let you know we're going to make great content for you. You're going to be proud to be a Star Wars fan. Just wait till you see what's coming out. As a personal statement to the Star Wars community, and she is yet to do anything like that. And I think that's why she's got to go. Good leadership would do that, and that's not good leadership then.
I wonder, and I can't remember if this is a conversation that we had as of recording or beforehand. Do you think that maybe there is still this realm of possibility that Gina Carano is still within contract and still will be in The Mandalorian 3? They will uncancel her. Disney itself will, if she would want to, assuming. Well, I mean, she'll be in contract. But, since they haven't publicly made a statement, because Gina Carano didn't find out that she was fired / canceled until it was on social media.
Maybe Tim can help me out with this, because I'm going to draw this along the lines of the wrestling community / world. Because, and now follow me here, Micah.
You're speaking a different language to me. Wrestling. What the hell?
That's why I need Tim's help. For some of these guys, they get contracted out for 2, maybe 3 shows a year, right, Tim? On the touring circuit. Yeah. And those shows might be big, spectacular shows, main event shows. And so maybe within Gina Carano's contract, there's something like that, to where she has to have so many minutes of appearance. And if it's in that contract, she hasn't used up all the minutes that she's supposed to have exposure, in The Mandalorian. That being said, if she hasn't used up all those minutes in The Mandalorian, then she would still be under contract, which would include a non-disclosure agreement.
So you're saying she's coming back, or
You're
like
she's gonna?
She would still do Star Wars content, but it wouldn't be Mandalorian. It'd be something else.
Maybe a cartoon or something like that as a voiceover. Who knows?
Can't they just buy out the contract?
Or just more of the behind the scenes documentary type of stuff.
Possibly.
Like I know I was the one that posed a question, and I think it's a question at least on the side of hope to maybe there is still hope. But I mean, they already had artists go in there, and I think Lewis, maybe you told me about that, or it was at the very least, it was from that one YouTube channel, Anna, the Star Wars girl, that had mentioned it because she said she's also a fellow artist. That they had artists commission this Mandalorian picture. And it would be easy just to simply remove Gina Carano and replace her with Ahsoka Tano, but they legitimately went in there to erase her, not digitally, but from the actual, principal piece. Where
they actually took out the paint of her.
Yeah, to replace her, and
she doesn't. Yeah,
that's a pretty permanent thing, right?
It's a little over the top. Yeah, it's very disrespectful.
Like, I wonder, I know this is about making money, but with all this controversy, how can the head of Disney, right, the CEO, I don't remember the new CEO's name, but how can the CEO be sitting back and being like, this is good for us, It's one thing. It's like we don't like apparently the conversation has been like they've been looking for ways to get rid of Gina Carano for some time. Yeah. And this last one was but icing on the cake to allow for that, right? But there are ways of doing that. Like if you really want to get rid of someone and not have this, controversy, not have this very unwanted, unwarranted, and negative attention, you could kill her off in the show. You could have her go off and do some other thing because there was conversation at one point in time for her to get her own show. Right?
Yeah, you could have just
yeah, exactly. It's like you could have just simply like this character has moved on from this show that she was introduced in to have this other show, and anything could happen to where like, oh my god, this show got canceled. It's still on the books. We're gonna do this later, and it until the conversation, the topic itself cools down, or the show never comes to be. But there are ways to do this where you also don't destroy, the show that people have come to love. Right? Because I know now there's a lot of fans. I think you even brought up in a couple podcasts ago the fandom menace, where it's like people don't like the sequel movies. Like they have problems with a lot of stuff they're doing, but it's like almost everyone, apparently except for the assholes that are the High Republic writers, everyone loved The Mandalorian. Like it reinstilled the faith and love that Star Wars was, the idea from George Lucas, like was continued with this show. And now it's kind of like even me as a huge fan of The Mandalorian, I can't tell you I'm not going to watch season 3, as a Star Wars fan, but it's like it creates this conversation. It's like, how good can the show possibly be if there has already been alterations to what they had originally have made? Like I'm sure they had this grand idea, and it seemed like if anything, Gina Carano was going to have more of a presence in the show moving forward. Yeah, with this, how much and how well and loved and received she was by the fans, and even her own particular fans, as a strong, independent woman on the show. Like,
what's so strange?
How good can it be? How good can it be? Sorry, go ahead. I'm just
And I want let me get Tim's thought on this because I want to hear his. Well, first off, Tim. Just real quick, how do you feel about cancel culture?
Don't like it, man.
Okay, so stop there. I don't know if you know this or not. Once they put that statement out about Gina Carano, sorry we're going back to her again, but I mean, I think it's important. I don't know if you know that Kenner and Hasbro stop production on her toys, and they retracted. If you got them from a toy store pre-order, they canceled those orders because they weren't making her toy anymore. So now you're talking about they've erased her literally from any posters or T-shirts, and now they're canceling her toy line from Kenner and Hasbro. That I would think would be a literal canceling of somebody.
That's coming back.
They're fucking with their own money stream, you know?
Yeah.
Which almost goes to show, like, there is some very insidious intention behind it. And with what we've seen with digital media and how, you know, well you can do certain things, it's like, all right, put on your tinfoil cap. I'm greeted with my great friend George Orwell. Canceling her, stopping production of even the image of her in Star Wars. Who's to say that they don't go back at some point in time in the relative future and don't essentially just make that character someone entirely different?
Digitally. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Micah.
You can do it now. And we've already seen, like, I mean, hell, even looking at the Game of Thrones stuff on HBO, but also in, I forget what episode, but one of the earlier episodes, the one that Carl Weathers directed when they're back on Navarro, where they have some dude sitting there that was it the Blue Jeans guy, and they digitally edited him out. Like, I mean, I'm sure that's a lot simpler to do, but with the advances that we have in technology, again, tinfoil cap is on, guys. Who's to say that they can't eventually just one day, if they really wanted to cancel her, if they really wanted to get rid of every image of her as Cara Dune, who's to say that they couldn't go back in there and have someone of a similar stature with a semi-close name, but you can still mess with that and literally just change that out? Because we're all about rewriting history now, right? We want to take away the things that were bad.
Do you know Carano was never on The Mandalorian? What are you talking about?
I mean, that's what I'm saying with my good friend George Orwell. Like, this is 1984 shit. It's like, we were never in a fight with, was it Oceania or whatever the places? I forgot the actual Eurasia and I forgot the names of it.
Eurasia.
But they keep on like we were in a fight with them for the longest time, and we were allied with these people, and then they flipped it. You know, like we have the technology, we can change the past, unfortunately. And if you remove any evidence of otherwise, who's to say, like, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years down the road, they'd be like, I remember my times. There was a great actress on this show, and her character was Cara Dune. Grandpa, you're crazy.
You're silly, Grandpa.
No person ever said, was actually there. You're going crazy. You're going senile. What do you mean, child? Like, she's gone.
Yeah, to even compound that even worse, what if they just get rid of the Mandalorian altogether?
There are so many things with that show. Like, what can they do going forward? You know, because it's like, I think I know you mentioned earlier, but it's like, does Favreau and Filoni even want to continue, even with their hands being tied behind their back, them having to change the story, having to get rid of her character, not recasting her character, killing off her character, writing her character off? I have to imagine there was some significance to her character with the story as it was, but especially with it going forward. You know, it's like, I got to imagine Favreau is like, you're joking, right? Like, whoever is a social media director for Star Wars, whoever sends out these dumbass tweets from them at times, first off, fire that motherfucker. Like, who's telling them to post shit? Is Kathleen Kennedy just hiding behind the wall? Hey, post that too. It's really funny. Oh, it's not going good? I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't say that shit.
Yeah. Well, Tim, that was a lot of info. How do you feel about all that, man?
Disney, Disney doesn't want I feel like as at the tail end of that thing, my mind's just thinking about like Disney and how, what if they do, what if they do, I mean, they made their statements and they just sent out a statement today, or not today, this past week about something. Were they donating money to an organization or?
Yeah, to combat in California the abuse of Pacific Islanders.
Yeah, so like they said, they're trying to play the good guy, which they usually have done in the past.
Did you read any of the comments on that post?
No,
all of them. All of them were like, "Well, what about the concentration camps in China? You gave China props, so you don't care about filming in China where there's concentration camps. Literally, boom, 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 one after the other, after the other, after the other. So people are chiming in on that episode. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, you're doing something great, but you don't give two shits about filming where there's concentration camps.
And have you seen like the ratio of likes to dislikes on all their episode little High Republic clips that they have on their official YouTube channel?
Yeah.
It's like 2,000 likes to 12,000 dislikes almost like on every video.
Yeah.
More or less. Did they disable the comments on that one? I know they disabled the comments on the whole Kathleen Kennedy for the Oscars one.
They did,
yeah.
Now you can't. That's the definition of we're pumping out this bullshit. You're going to eat it. I don't care what your opinion is. We're not going to hear your opinion. You're not going to be able to have an opinion because we're going to remove your ability to do so.
Did you dislike the video?
No. I didn't, but I respect the move.
I mean, they even took that off too, eventually, the likes and the dislikes, because there was too many dislikes on it. So
we're the fucking Oscars. What do you mean?
All right, guys, we got two more topics left, and Tim's got about 20 minutes with us left here. So we're gonna go ahead and burn through these, and then we'll call it a podcast for today. So the next thing we're going to talk about, Micah, you talked about the High Republic and their like to dislike ratio. You and I are listening to the audiobook Light of the Jedi. We were actually taking it chapter by chapter.
You mean?
Oh, and we got to about chapter 5, and then we kind of decided, you know what, let's just start burning through this. Everybody's telling us this really starts taking off, when you get into the later chapters. So you and I were like, okay, well, let's do this, right? So we've got through part 1, and that wrapped up with the discussion of, who the Nihil, whatever the hell you want to call them, are the space pirates, space Vikings, the baddest of the bad guys in the Star Wars universe at this time.
Fucking Pirates of the Caribbean in space.
Yeah. I know, Tim, all you've really gotten was the comic book. So I don't know if you want to just listen and then chime in afterwards or interject, but I don't know. Here we go. The High Republic, part 1. There were so many things wrong with it that I don't know if I can continue reading it. Like I've mentioned before, the way that they use time, it took 30 minutes to get here, impact in however many minutes. That's not how you talk in the Star Wars universe.
And when the biggest goddamn event happened at the end of part 1, it seemed just like, okay, we took care of that.
Yeah. Gosh. The Jedi seem very aloof, I guess would be the word, about what's going on. There's just an explosion. It's a big explosion, and I'm going to go back to it. I can't help it. You're telling me this has never happened before in the Star Wars universe. You're using hyperlanes, whether something's coming at you or it's stationary in the hyperlane. You can't drop out of hyperspace, avoid the object, or pick a different hyperlane. Give me a goddamn break. Give me a break. That's what the whole premise was about this. It created a catastrophe. You're telling me nothing like this has ever happened before. They were never prepared. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. It's garbage. It's bad. It's real bad. And I mean, it stinks. It stinks. I don't know if I want to continue it. I might continue the comic, but I'm kind of even with that one. It's pretty bad too. I don't know. I don't even know if I want to get into talking about what happened in it. That I just don't care for it. I don't know. What about you, Micah? Let me put it this way. I'm on part 1. I'm probably going to finish reading the rest of it because I paid $14.95 for the damn thing, right? Might as well finish reading it. But I'll tell you this. The premise that it's on, the story, the characters, it's all bad. It's not Star Wars to me.
There's definitely not much good to it. I don't know, man. Because we are, whether we share the same opinions of, I saw people attacking some of the commentary that we were saying about that. Whether we share the opinions of a small group, large group, whatever, we are, I don't know what they're seeing, what they're not, what we're not. I don't know if it's just kind of like, and don't get me wrong, at some point in time, maybe I would have been this particular way, but to me, it's like, okay, Star Wars, I'm going to check it out. Like, I love Star Wars. And then now it's almost moved to like, are Star Wars fans obligated to defend something and treat it as if it's some of the best content they've ever seen versus calling it for what it is? I don't particularly care for what I've seen thus far, even though it's within the context of Star Wars. Like, okay, I get it. I mean, I think everything that you said is a valid concern for it. Like yes, the whole time constraint, but also too, it's like they built up this huge entire thing, and the finale to that in part 1, it just seemed like it was just like a passing thing. It was just, they built it up to be this huge catastrophe, or and it was averted, but like the process it took for that, it just seemed like it was a really cheap thing. Like, okay, and we concentrated, and okay, we did it. Yeah. It's like, that's it. Like, I don't know if what I'm not seeing that they are seeing, I don't know if I'm, part of my decisions are probably still somewhat, tainted by the responses of the people who actually wrote this thing. I have the benefit, however, of I bought it on Audible for the audiobook. Yeah. I can return it for another credit.
I highly urge you to do that if you can, Mike. I bought it off of Kindle, so I own it.
Because I don't yet have all of the I don't have yet all of the
go buy a manga or something, man.
I don't have all the extended universe stuff, is what I mean. Yeah. And so it's like, okay, I'd rather, get just some off the beaten path expanded universe, and maybe this will just be the Star Wars that we were supposed to have that never will again. I don't know.
Okay, let me let Tim in on it. And I just noticed I have 5% on my phone. Damn it! So I might poop out here. Okay. Hey,
your phone's gonna cancel you. Oof.
I know, for real. So Tim, really fast.
Yeah.
The ship hit something in hyperdrive, blew up, flew into a system of planets, starts hitting the planets. Those planets are just getting bombarded, vaporizing cities, all kinds of stuff. The Jedi get together, kind of talk to each other telepathically, start sending all this debris out of the system, and end of part 1, and then the introduction of the Nile. So
that's how they should have written the book. Just 3 lines of dialogue.
Like, yes, we did it. We did it. Album, you just sent off millions of pieces of debris into space. Who the hell knows where it's going? Yay! Okay.
The Jedi are concentrating.
So we know that the Star Wars universe is inhabited by billions and billions of galaxies upon billions and billions of stars, just like ours. But those places are inhabited. And the Jedi just sent billions of shrapnel into space to just bombard anybody else that may be in the way of these particles. Right.
And the Jedi just so happen to be right there. As if it was distressing, the Coruscant couldn't possibly get them quick enough.
Yeah. So
cheap thrills, cheap antics, cheap story.
Yeah, the other big part is if you're able to control and move that object that is moving at faster than light speed or right up to light speed, why don't you just crush it or stop it with the Force?
Because it takes more energy, Lewis. Duh. Haven't you ever fucking read a Star Wars book?
Not that we're able to move rocks or stop, starships in space, or we don't do that in Star Wars, at least not in the High Republic.
I feel like the High Republic watching Luke on a season 2 finale of The Mandalorian, like fuck shit up in the hallway and like crush the robot or the Sith Trooper and shit. Like they're the Trade Federation. What? He can't do that. Shoot him or something.
Oh my god! I don't know, Tim. You talk to us, man. You're kind of on the outside looking in. Like I said,
all he has heard is good stuff about it. So I mean,
from all the stuff I've heard from you guys, like this is probably the reason why I haven't been getting the books. Like I'm just like or reading anything from it. Like I'll get small details here and there, but like just hearing what you said just like makes me think like that sounds mediocre. Like
yes, that's the best description that you could have said, Tim. This story is mediocre at best.
And Lewis, that's why we're going to get canceled, because if one person believes what we're saying, then 10 people believe what we're saying, then 1,000 people believe what we're saying. The High Republic is not strong enough to handle dissent against its opinion about this place.
So, Tim, I know that we kind of swayed your thought process on there, but we have gone through the comic. Issue number 3 of the High Republic comic book will come out tomorrow, because we're doing this. We're doing this on March 2nd, 2021, Texas Independence Day, and the comic book will come out tomorrow, March 3rd.
Sorry, go ahead.
We'll probably do a synopsis of that comic book, issue 3. Which I think the Drengir will come out. The plants that are dark-sided is slated to come out, make an appearance. They made a slight appearance in the last comic book with their little tentacle.
Oh, that's right. The killer ficus tree. Okay.
Yes, yeah. The Sith plant. So how do you feel about Sith plants, Tim?
The same way I feel about that talking rock.
You guys like that? The High Republic literally has a character that is a rock. That's a navigator on a ship called the Vessel.
I think we're all looking at this the wrong way. Star Wars gave us a comedy. They just didn't call it that. We should be so happy. You want to watch a real parody? You want to watch some real shit? Check this out. Oh no, and we lost Lewis.
I mean, what the fuck? That plan from Little Shop of Horrors is pretty badass, though.
Yeah, but we know that Little Shop of Horrors to be a comedy, yes. It's not supposed to be like, hey, check out this crazy fly-eating monster type plant that's gonna eat humans and shit. Well, I guess we're there, Tim. Since it looks like we did Lewis, and you got to get on.
Oh no. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't hear that freaking Little Shop of Horrors thing.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Anyways.
Well, this has been episode 68 of the Force Choke podcast. If you made it this far, thank you, and we're sorry. And
hopefully,
okay, just adjusting.
Providing more content, and we don't get fired for cancel culture.
If we're not sent to the gulag yet, there's no coming back from that place. We know. But thank you. Check us out, and goodbye.